What's going on, everybody? My name is Tom from Planted Aquaria, and I know it has been a long time coming, and I'll show you why. For those of you who have shopped here on a regular basis, you probably already know why. This is Myles. He's currently 6 months old. We had him around Black Friday. It was honestly a disaster for my Tran, but she pulled through, so you guys can call her a champ in the comment section there. Black Friday, we literally just closed the store right after 8 o'clock, went to the hospital, and Mr. Myles had arrived. So that is why we have not been on YouTube for the past couple months. Past 9 months or so, almost a year basically. But we are starting to finally get a schedule going on, and I'm gonna find some more time to film, edit. The problem with my filming and editing is I prefer to do everything in one day, so it does take about 5 to 6 hours of my day total. But we do have Mondays off now. Well, technically after 3 p.m. we close, just so we have time for this little guy. Yeah, hopefully the rest of you get to meet him one day, and I will be filming him occasionally, so you will see him grow up on the channel. So with all that being said, it is Sunday today, so if we do cut out in between video and my next sentence does not make sense, don't blame me, I'm very sorry. We have customers coming in, and I do have to stop the video just so it's not awkward for them, because you can imagine what it'd be like if I was just filming in the middle of customers walking right in. So yeah, today the premise of this video is to just kind of ease in back onto YouTube. I just plan on talking about the display tanks. Significantly, I wanted to do it today because we are shutting down our 90-gallon. Technically it's a 70-gallon tank plus a 20-gallon sump, but I'd like to call it a 90-gallon because the water volume overall is 90 gallons. So I will talk about this tank a little bit today, and I will be shutting it down. I might throw some of that in the video today, but I'm not too sure yet. But let's start with our betta tank. I also want to quickly mention that I did change the audio from now on. I'm using the stock speaker, recorder, whatever you call it, microphone from this camera. Before I had a compatible third-party microphone I attached, but it's a little bit bulky to carry around, and the audio was only pinpointed towards my voice, and it didn't catch surrounding voices around. So if I was talking to someone, the audio is very hard to hear on their side. So let me know how it goes today, and I'll probably see how the voice or video / audio sounds like during my editing, and I'll know for next time. All right, so first up is one of my favorite low-tech tanks here. And we don't have many tanks, so you might hear favorite a lot. And this is Lightning the Betta's tank. That's Lightning right there. He's about 1.5 years, I think. And he's currently in our one-sided island style Aquascape. This is a UNS Ultim Nature System 60L. 60 being the length in centimeters. And it is a 6-gallon total volume tank. Now, I did mention it's low tech. It only has a couple of Bucephalandras, some Anubias, and one of my all-time favorite plants, Hygrophila. This one specifically is Siamensis 53B. It's one of my favorites because it's easily adaptable to any waters, low tech, like I mentioned before, and it can even grow immersed. That's why it's a pretty awesome plant. We do recommend it quite a lot here at our store, and obviously since this display has the plant, customers do often ask about it, so it's an easy sell for an easy plant there. This tank is very well balanced. In the beginning of the tank, we used to have dirty pipes accumulate every single week, but now we just strictly keep to once a week, 50% water changes or a little bit more. The pipes, as you can see, stay crystal clean, which is pretty cool and pretty awesome. We do have other inhabitants in this tank. I did have 2 pencil fishes. Unfortunately, one jumped out last week, so we're just left with the one. And we do have a couple CPDs in there. And yes, bettas are community fishes. There's just prerequisites that we do recommend when adding a betta into a community. but I will not talk about that in this video today. Maybe I will film a video on how to acclimate your betta to a community tank. If you guys want, just let me know in the comments below. All right, moving on. This is our 4.5 gallon cube. It is a high tech, meaning it basically just has CO2 injection with high lighting. So we originally started this tank back then as a bonsai scape tree. So those of you who have shopped in our store, you probably remember instead of those 2 rocks in the back there, we had a small bonsai with some weeping moss. That was great. However, the reason why I wanted to change it was because the bonsai wasn't really glued in place. So oftentimes when I was doing my maintenance, I would reach my hands kind of in there and then it would knock over the wood and it would cause a lot of waste to be lifted up from the bottom, which wasn't really ideal. So we tossed that idea, we took out the bonsai, added 2 pieces of dragonstone, and technically it started as an iwagumi, meaning just rocks and carpet. Simple aquascape basically, but now we added a cryptocorian flamingo in the front. But it is a stunning plant to showcase customers, and we do get requests or asked often if we do sell this plant. And since it is more on the rare side, for example Tropica, they do not sell this type of plant, so we have to go through importers and wholesalers overseas in order to get cryptocorian flamingo. This tank has 1 blue Moscow guppy and 2 panda guppies. One of my favorite guppies because they look between a crossbreed between endlers and actual regular guppies. So yeah, this tank gets 50% water change once a week, just like most of the other tanks in the store. Very well balanced. We had a little bit of algae issues in the beginning, but obviously we just need to unclog, clean the filter, dose a little bit of APT Fix, which is one of my favorite products that we sell in our store. This is a great alternative to Seachem or Seachem Flourish XL, I believe it's called. Main difference is that XL has copper, APT Fix does not. Maybe I'll make a video on this in the future as well, but there's lots of videos out there on YouTube now of before and after photos or videos of how this product works. So if you're having major algae issues, you can't seem to balance or fix, we do recommend you try to do it the normal way first, i.e. water changes, reduced lighting, blackout tanks. But again, if that doesn't work, APT Fix is your go-to solution. Next up, we have a scape here that was built and put together by Aquascapes and Drinks and Scapes. Some of you may know them already on Instagram. They are really good friends of mine and really great aquascapers. Give them a follow on Instagram. They came here about 3 weeks ago. I asked them to come help me put together a paludarium. Alex, she is well known for her paludarium builds. So check her out on Instagram and you'll see a similarity between this tank and all of the tanks that she builds at home. Same with Drinks and Scapes. He is more or less a diorama expert and he focuses on competition tanks more or less. So he came and gave his inputs on building the paludarium together, and I think those two made a great collaboration and created this magnificent piece of art. So just a quick walkthrough of what they did. They use, I believe, 4 different types of wood. May not remember them off the top of my head, but Pacific, Cyrus, Spiderwood, and there was one more. You can, if you have a close look, you can see the difference in the wood textures. But if normally when I talk to my customers and I don't point that out, they aren't willing or they aren't able to tell. They weren't able to tell. You can see up here, plant is still in the pot. So every day we just have to add water and treat it like a normal house plant there. I believe these are just easy house plants you can get from Home Depot or any garden centers. This is just a regular fern. This is a Cebu blue pothos plant. Apparently it's very rare in the GTA right now and a lot of people are looking for them. This plant, I don't really remember the name. I will find that out and put it in the descriptions. But yeah, this is a black water paludarium, meaning it has some black water or dark water additives like these alder cones, these Buddha nuts, and of course almond leaves. The green neon tetras will love them. We also have panda platies in here. They're just my favorite, couldn't get away from adding them. I do have swamp guppies. There's also just those two there. Some Amano shrimps. We just added about 8 laser yellow shrimps as well. Don't mind Myles in the background, he's just drinking milk. Also added some snails. Spiky Nereid's my absolute favorite. I can't see him right now, but we do have a blue licorice gourami. We have about 3 in this tank, but they tend to hide and only come out during the nighttime. But just a little more walkthrough on this tank is we have a moss wall behind. By the way, this wall is custom made. It replicates ADA's Doa wall. We got it made by a good friend of mine named Frankie Fish on Instagram. Some of you may know him as well. The wall was basically a fraction of the cost of what the original ADA Doa wall was going to cost me, which I believe is around $500 or $600 after tax. Frankie, a good friend of mine, basically built this wall for under $300. Which is pretty sweet. So unfortunately we don't sell that wall here. If you ever want to replicate this style, you would have to find out where you can get the Doa wall from or replicate it and get someone to build it yourself. I'm not too sure if Frankie will be taking requests right now. He is a busy guy, but you can always message us on either Instagram if you are serious, and we can reach out to Frankie for you. I do want to mention is this tank is low tech and only running a Waze 100 Filter Smart filter. This tank here is the newest addition to our store. Unfortunately, it is going through some high algae issues, and the reason for that is because it sees direct sunlight from time to time, pretty much every day for about 3 to 4 hours. So what I'm doing right now is I just blacked out the tank. Not really a full blackout, but I turned off the lights is what I meant to say. And the algae is subsiding. So once the tank balances itself a little bit more, mind you, I didn't do a dark start, I didn't do dry start or anything like that. I just put soil in and I filled the tank immediately and I put the plants in, which I should not have done because the high spike of nitrogen levels or ammonia levels is causing my boosters to melt. So the best case scenario for you guys if you're ever redoing a tank is to bag your plants and just keep them in a fridge, especially until the nitrogen levels leach out of the soil or your tank is fully cycled, or else again you're gonna run into melting boost issues and you don't want your money to melt. Alright guys, last but not least, we have our 90 gallon that I am planning on shutting down today. It is currently 1:20 p.m. Hopefully by the end of today, which is 8 p.m, I'll be able to shut it down completely, get all the fish into a bucket, get all the plants bagged. I'm pretty sure I'll be using some of the Anubias. I don't think I'll be keeping the ferns, so by the time you see this video I may have some plants left over. Just give me a shout, and they will be cheaper than retail cost because they will be bagged and there will be mixtures of plants. Just a quick run through before we shut down this tank. Oh, and the reason why we're shutting down this tank is because I personally don't like a sump system for a high-tech CO2 aquascape, especially when I don't get the choice in where the placement of my outflow is. You can see this one is stuck in the back here, and there is a chamber that kind of sticks out at the back. It's hard to see with the reflections, but maybe you can see here. Right there you can kind of see it's like a rectangle block going all the way up from the bottom of the tank. It does take away from the aquascape, and that's my main concern. So we are replacing this tank with an Waze Scaper Line 90, and that would be a 70 gallon tank, which is the same dimensions as this minus the 20 gallon water volume in the sump. And I don't want to make any promises yet, but we have a special somebody, a very special somebody that I can't wait to have stop by. I'm anticipating he will be coming sometime in September, but again, no promises. I don't want to announce his name in case, you know, plans fall through. We are specifically bringing in the Waze Scaper Line 90 for this person to scape, so that's going to be very exciting. We will have more details and I will be filming it this time around. So yeah, more details on this tank before we shut it down today. 20 gallon sump. We have a pump in the back. I don't necessarily remember the gallons per hour that it is moving, but I remember we did get way more than enough. So water movement is not an issue with this tank. One thing I will miss about this tank is the sock filters. These guys accumulate and collect a bunch of waste way better than sponges, and how it works is water flows through up here and just falls through the sock sponges before it moves to the next area or compartment where the biomedia and the other sponges sit. So that's one thing I'll miss from this tank, but not a huge deal breaker, because obviously when we're going to be using our Waze Biomasters, they all come with a pre-filter sponge, which is way easier in my opinion for cleaning. Just a quick rundown of the scape. We have about 6 discus in here. These discus are bred from Germany under the brand Steinecker. Let me try to zoom in on this guy for you guys. But there's my discus. He is the biggest one out of the bunch, meaning he is more aggressive. He gets a little bit more food. He does pick at other fish's bodies and face during feeding time, so it's kind of like his shooing mechanism to get more food for himself. But other than that, during non-feeding times, he gets along with everyone. In this tank, we also have about 12 red cherry barbs. Just look at that color on that guy. Absolutely amazing. So I will be putting all these fishes back in the Waze Scaper Line 90. Temporarily, we'll just be putting them into buckets and acclimating them into a holding tank in our fish room downstairs. One thing I forgot to mention is this scape was also done by a good friend of mine, Drinks and Scapes. There's his tag again for those of you who would like to follow him. He came by, took a day off from work, and Vince, if you're watching this, thank you very much for everything you've done for us, especially with these 2 tanks. Can't thank you enough. He planned an island style scape, and he would be probably a better person to explain this, but I believe his take on it was he was going for the triangle formation. So if you can kind of see that angular shape going downwards and the point at this very end here with the highest point on top. Now, we did start this tank with Rotala rotundifolia in the background, but unfortunately I hacked it back too much and I did not replant the mother plants or the mother stems. So now the Rotala is just slowly growing back, and you can kind of see how it looks like now. Before it had lots of red, oranges, greens. Now it's just green, unfortunately. But you live and you learn. Now you know, or now I know, to plant the mother stems every single time, and don't throw that in the garbage. So now I can pass that info to my customers as well. Ever since we added the Anubias, it has exploded. I will be bagging these guys up and put them for sale, but ultimately I am very excited to shut down this tank today. Last but not least, we have this giant cube. It's a 17 gallon over here. It's currently empty right now. I did a little bit of hardscaping for it, but someone else got in touch with me, and this person I could mention, his name is Aircoot, aka Tropic Tank. He is going to be coming. We're not going to be doing a workshop or anything like that, because he does need the space and privacy to kind of film while he's scaping this tank for us. So he's going to be doing a Dutch style. We've never had a Dutch style in our store before, so that's going to be a first time, and hopefully I can get some footage of that as well. And if I don't put that on YouTube, you can always follow us on Instagram. I try to post everything that's new, everything that's great, and what I think my customers would want to follow along with on my Instagram. So that is all I had planned for today's video. I just, again, wanted to ease myself back onto YouTube. I have so much ideas, but obviously I don't want to do that all in one video. I can't promise you guys weekly videos, because at this point it really depends on if I have free time or not. But I appreciate you guys for subscribing and following along. If you guys want to see daily updates of our store, please follow us on Instagram at plantedaquaria.ca. I'll make sure to leave it somewhere in this video here or in the descriptions below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, comment below what you'd like me to film and update you guys on next time. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye from Planted Aquaria team, pretty much just me and Myles and my tribe. Peace out.